welcome everybody. Welcome to a brand new episode of the Every Day is a New Day show. My name is Kim O'Neill, and today we are in for a treat with another awesome guest. Her story is just blows me away, and I know is going to add inspiration and hope and insight and so much to your day. So grateful for you being here today. Before we officially get started, let's take a moment to be fully present by having this moment and shaking off yesterday, releasing whatever may be weighing you down, whatever you might be hanging on to from yesterday, from 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 2 seconds ago, whatever it may be that is clouding your ability to have clarity, to be present and fully in your power today. Just take a few moments to do that. You can even do that with your breath. And let's get started. I'm going to share with you a quote that is, I find very inspiring based on today's guest, who is also an artist. And our quote for today is by Anais Nin. It is the function of art to renew our perception. What we are familiar with, we cease to see. It is the function of art to renew our perception. What we are familiar with, we cease to see. Take that in. Let me know what you're taking away from that. Art can add so much to our day, and I'm excited to be hearing about today's guest and her art. So let me go ahead and share a little bit about her with you today. Kaziah Hancock is a portrait artist with a passion for painting fallen soldiers and gifting their families her heartwarming works of art. While her art is a treasured gift, it is also what helped her find herself. Kaziah is the author of the book Escape Prisons of the Mind, where she recounts her personal history of being raised in a constricting Mormon fundamentalist polygamist community and later enduring years of various types of abuse as a result of being ordered to marry within the religion. Through painting, Kaziah found her freedom. To date, she has painted 2,733 moving portraits and is known nationwide for her movement, Project Compassion. And today we are talking about freedom through art, portraits for fallen soldiers. And I'm going to go ahead and bring Kaziah up now. Welcome, Kaziah.
Hey, thank you for having me on your show. Appreciate it.
Thank you for being here today. Thank you for reaching out to me. Kaziah, you don't know this, but I've been doing the Every Day is a New Day show for about 8 years now. And I seem to have this pattern where every year I start to go, we might be winding down. It might be time to just let the show end. And then it never fails, Kaziah. I seriously, I meet someone like you and light bulb hits and I'm like, oh my goodness, we have to share her story. We have to, we have to share it. So I'm so glad that you wrote it in your book, Escape Prisons of the Mind. I'd like to start there. I'd like to start with your personal story. You titled your book Escape Prisons of the Mind, where you talk about growing up in a very controlling community. And this is about, of course, your personal lived experience. But is there an overarching message of hope that you are hoping readers will take away from this book?
Oh, most certainly. Yeah, see, given in marriage at 15, as a third wife, I was forbidden from painting. The guy called it a waste of time, and actually, the art supplies that my precious mother had bought me, he picked them up, put them in the garbage can. I remember going out to the shop. See, they wanted me to work in a little family-owned business that the guy and his first wife had created of washing glass gallon jugs, So that was how I was supposed to spend my time. But I remember walking out to the shop to wash bottles, and I seen my art materials on the top of the garbage can, and it was just fixed in my mind. So for 18 years until I left the, do I dare say, damn wretched mess, if you don't mind me using that expression, because it's true. It was a horrible mess. And I didn't think I had the prayer of a snowball in Hades of ever pursuing my dream of being an artist. And see, the thing of it is how a lot of people in America, tens of millions of people that seen the the Care 11 piece on the Today Show or CNN or on YouTube or the Military Times, where I'd painted 250 soldiers, and they made a big deal out of that. I really couldn't understand why it was such a big deal, because to me, I started it because it was just a simple act of kindness. My freedom means a lot to me, and without those that protect us from the enemies, we don't have freedom.
So, okay, now, Kaziah, before I ask you more questions about your personal story, I want to first acknowledge that while I know we've heard many stories about polygamist community and fundamentalists, ultimately today's conversation story isn't about that in general. Not everyone has the same story. We're not condemning any of those things. We're simply talking about Kaziah's story. Does that resonate for you?
Well, yeah. The thing is, though, it's that wretched mess that I had to suffer through is why freedom means so much to me. You know, somebody said to me the other day, well, freedom's just another word for nothing left to lose. And I go,
wow.
Me? Freedom's everything. You don't have freedom, you don't got nothing.
Well, so tell us, thank you. I just wanted to get that out of the way so everyone knows we're not here to bash any communities. We're talking about stories like Kaziah's and people who can relate to stories like hers. So I love that freedom is such a big thing for you. Tell us how that relates to why you decided to title your book, Escape Prisons of the Mind. Talk about freedom in that respect.
Well, the first book that I wrote, it was called Prisons of the Mind, but I still hadn't figured out the mind control that people had been using over me to get me to submit to all the abuses to where they control everything. You know, where you live, where you work, where you sleep, who you sleep with, what you eat, what you wear, how you spend your Sundays, what music you listen to, what television you talk to. And keep an eye on you that you can't go anywhere. You know, there's not prison bars, it is a prison.
So what was the turning point when you started to realize that you could make some sort of shift into freedom of your mind?
I realized if I didn't get the flip out of there, I was going to wind up in a nut house, because it was just that horrible. I mean, the guy had the audacity to say to me, you have to obey me. I am your God. Well, excuse me, you ain't nobody's God. And so all the threats of you're going to hell if you don't obey the brethren. How can you send somebody to hell when they've already been in hell? So women need to realize they have value. You need to use your brain. And to stimulate the brain, I would sincerely recommend that you open up the Bible and read Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John and fall in love with Jesus all over again, and he will give you the strength to become all that you can be. I mean, I'm not a perfect person.
Nobody is.
I love God. I love Jesus so much. And whatever I got to go through to let people know the truth, and the truth will set you free. That's a beautiful thing, because that's where I found it.
Are you in contact with any of your family today?
Yeah, I have two sisters.
Okay. What was it like for you to know that you're choosing to leave all of like that lifestyle that you grew up with behind, and in order to have freedom for yourself? What was that like for you?
Well, it was scary in a way, but I had to be brave to do it, because that was just insanity. You know, I mean, how much can you really fear when you've already been through hell?
I hear you. Yeah.
You know? And death, threats of death, hell, and the devil, that only goes so far. So, well, here's the thing. When I was put into that situation, this guy, he told me, he says, I'm holding you accountable to for the support of my family. And I said, why me? He says, because you're the only one that God's given the brains and the body.
Wow.
Yeah. So on the thought that, well, see, to begin with, I was told that if I did not obey the brethren, that I would be not only sent to hell, but my very soul would cease to exist. And that's the kind. As a child, I never could comprehend that anybody would lie and say, "Thus saith the Lord," when God had not spoken. So my mother, my father, my grandfather, and my great-grandfather. My great-grandfather and my grandfather were bodyguards to Joseph Smith. Okay, so that whole thing, and so I was brought up to believe you respect the brethren and you obey them because this is the voice of God to you.
We trust the people who bring us into this world and raise us. And that blows my mind to hear that. What, I don't know who you just said now, but one of your elders or one of the men acknowledged that ultimately they know they have power over the others. And you're the one who's choosing to deviate from that and think for yourself. That blows my mind that they would articulate that.
Okay. So I just accepted it as, well, you know what? If that's what God wants me to do, I'm sure he'll help me. So I just tried to do the best that I could in washing these glass gallon bottles. Started out with 30 cases a day, which there's 4 bottles to a case. And then over the years, as I was all the time trying to figure out a better, faster, and more economical way to do something. So it went from there to 100 cases a day, which is 400 bottles. That's a lot. But here's the thing: the hours that I spent in that type of work, it gave me self-esteem because I realized, somebody that's willing to work that hard for the benefit of others, that ain't easy.
There's no job that's too small, and you were building your self-confidence through your competence in being able to complete that task. But you knew that there was something more for you out there too. That's
well, after 13 years of washing glass gallon jugs and 5-gallon containers and plastic carboys and that type of thing, and then I had an opportunity to expand into 55-gallon metal barrels. Now, I didn't know anything about welding, mechanical engineering, nothing. But there's one thing about little Miss Kaziah. I dare to ask. And those that did know how to weld, I said, okay, teach me. I started out, with the turkey puck to where it's not a strong weld and it all falls apart, to learning the exactness of welding. So I was able to fabricate equipment, trial and error. Hey, I am not genius, for goodness sake. I'll be the first to admit that. I made a lot of mistakes, but I learned. And over the years, the equipment that I built a substantial business. And what I built was my self-confidence. Kaziah, you have a brain.
Yes.
And there's people, when I was washing bottles, they come on the yard and I say, is that woman mentally retarded? Yeah, they would. Just because I would just be there working every day. Who the hell does that? Nobody. I mean, without pay. See, the man and his first wife, they were taking all of the money that I earned and putting it under their names so that their Social Security would be up. And they said, well, it's Social Security, you'll be broke by the time you're old enough to collect. To this very day, my Social Security between you and me and the gatepost is less than $400 a month. Do I cry? Do I whine? Do I go to the government? Oh, please help me. How about not only no, but H no? No, I don't. I brace up. Let's go to work, girl. I believe that all my blessings come from Almighty God. And as long as I love him and I love the truth and I try to be a blessing to other people, he's going to help me.
You are a huge blessing to the world, Kaziah. That just shone through so much, when you reached out to me. And that is why I said, we've got to hear more from this lady. I can answer this next question myself, but I want to hear your answer. Why do you think more people don't leave controlling situations? I want to hear your response to that.
Well, for one thing, they're in a prison of their mind.
Yeah.
That indoctrination is so deep that they just, I mean, hey, I went to a funeral of one of the little girls that was born while I was in that wretched mess for 18 years. And I looked down this row of these girls, long hair, long sleeves, long dresses, long faces. Nothing had changed. I'd changed. They hadn't changed. They was just like frozen in time.
And when you start making those connections of going, wait a second, I want to do something more. I want to evolve. I want to do the next thing. I mean, what I love about this is so much about, for anybody out there who's in a situation where you think this is all there is, or maybe you're feeling stuck, whatever it may be. No, every day is a new day. Kaziah, what was your education level as you were going through the years?
Eighth grade, because there was a kid that, my name being Kaziah Hancock, he'd see me coming down the hall and they'd say, "Hey, here comes Beak of the Week." Well, that was disgusting. But then he'd say things that were offensive. "Hey, May," and that's it. I quit. I'm not going to school. I am not gonna. It's either that kid or me, and I know they're not gonna press charges on him to get him to stop. And I didn't want to tell anybody. I don't think I even told my mother. So I just you know what? I need to get a job. And not only that, but with my age, see, and the brother had already given away all my sisters in marriage. Wow. And guess what? We were not allowed to attend the marriage ceremony. Oh, no, it's none of your damn business what happened to your sister. Shut up. It's a secret. So I just said, you know what? And then this guy, he was about 65 years old, and here I am, 15. This other guy that was there in the house with mother, and he was good to me, Uncle Walt, and and he was taking care of mother and taking her shopping and taking her, driving her to work and that type of thing. She worked in nursing homes and also hotels, cleaning hotels room and things of that nature. But the thing is he comes home one day and he says, "I've just talked to Brother Guy, and he said he's had a revelation, and this is a priesthood direction that you're to be my wife."
And that was that?
I said, "Priesthood? Whose priesthood? Your priesthood?" He said, "No, Brother Guy's priesthood." And I says, "Well, that's not going to happen." He says, "Well, then you're going to go to hell." And I says, "Fine, I'll marry the devil when I'm down there, but by God, I ain't marrying you."
Wow.
So he says, "Fine, you little shit, I'll like to starve." I said, "I'll get a job. I am not going to marry you so I can have a hamburger," because he'd been bringing in the groceries. Fine, I need to find me a job. So these other people that I ended up with, they offered me a job. I had no intention of being part of their family, nothing. No, just let me work so I can make a few dollars, and at the end of the day, I can learn some skills, hopefully, and buy my food. So I wouldn't be hijacked.
So, Kaziah, what you continue to showcase through your story and sharing is it's all about your spirit and your commitment to saying yes to you and what feels right for you. It's not about education level. It's not about what people above you are trying to create and make you do. You chose you. And that is hugely inspiring for so many people who right now are feeling like they can't see the way to do that. So
they're afraid of making mistakes. Guess what? It's okay to make mistakes. You're going to learn. Just saying. Hey, I was listening to a conference. It's something that's supposed to be the smartest men in the United States or in the world, and they said persistence and the willing to keep going, don't give up, keep seeking answers. That's how you make it.
Yes.
Well, okie dokie. I totally agree. And not only that, treat other people with respect. See, the thing is, what I realized in this polygamous group, by the way, this is the same group that created the likes of Warren Jeffs, the
Right.
damn child molester that's in prison right now as we speak. Yeah. So this was his father and friends.
Whew, okay, so I'm gonna just noticing the time where we are. I know you have stories for days that you could share, and I want to remind everyone about Kaziah's book, "Escape Prisons of the Mind," and this is your artwork is too, correct?
No,
Oh, it's
I,
not.
I when I left, I started taking art lessons and I married the art instructor at the Salt Lake Community College. His name was Ivan Douglas Jordan. He was the love of my life. We had 9 good years. When I wrote the book, he did that for me.
Okay.
And
Okay.
so that's his art.
Okay. So that's his art, but you have your art in here,
Oh yes,
and
78 pages, full color art. Yeah.
I want to just show people. I mean, this book is huge, y'all. This is a huge book, and I'm going to show full color works of her art. I'm going to put some of these on screen so people can see them. But Keziah, tell us a little bit more about now about how you got into oil painting and specifically painting fallen soldiers, fallen heroes.
Well, I mean, uh, yeah, we could go on for 2 hours, slick as a whistle. But so the love of my life artist, Ivan Douglas Jordan, he decided that he wanted to get into this polygamy thing, that you're going to become a god one day and have your own world and many wives and concubines. That's a dangerous thing, that doctrine, but it's in Joseph Smith's writing. So whatever person can find it if they choose to do that. But and so that ended up in a divorce for us. But then I had learned how to paint, and I started painting. What you're going to see in there is the worker series. Why did I choose the worker series? Well, because see, at 911, when the towers came down, the whole world, we all stopped and did this self-examination. Oh, what are we going to do with our time? Because we don't know how much time we got. And I thought, you know what? The thing that I know is working people. During that 18 years, I met carpenters, mechanics, cement workers, electricians, people like that. Okay, so I just thought, you know what? I fell in love with those people because they were just the salt of the earth. And so I started, and the street sweeper is one of the paintings in there. And then I painted now a guy that's just about 5 miles from here. He was the dairyman. And so I got him to pose for me, and so all these that I painted, they're real people,
I love that. So your website is theartofkaziah.com.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
There was another website. It was called heropaintings.com, where there was thousands of images on there. But the company went out of business and they took the site down. And I'm yet lost to try to figure out how to get the dang thing back up, because it had probably over 4,000 images. So, this site here, it's got a few paintings, and I'll add more when I can. But it's just a shame. Because first of all, they wanted, every time they uploaded an image, they wanted me to pay them $35. I said, I can't do that.
Oh, wow. Yeah, no, good. I'm glad you didn't do that. No.
Yeah. And so they just quit sending me bills, and then it just, so, and that was about a year ago. So I'm trying to work on getting it back.
Okay. Well, so for those who want to find out more about what you currently have up online, they can go to theartofkaziah.com. And for our podcast listeners, that is spelled the art. So TheArtofKaziah.com, theartofkaziah.com. And is that the best place to go for people to reach out to you if they want to get a copy of your book?
Yeah, they can go there. And also, if they want to just mail me just $60, that's my cost. I can send them a copy. And if they'll put in there, if they want me to sign it to them or somebody else, or if they just want me to sign it. But my post office box is 153, Nanty, Utah, 84642. And I'll
generous.
About because Amazon's got it on Amazon for, I think it's $68 last time I checked.
Okay, that is very generous of you. So anybody who's wanting a copy of Kaziah's book, definitely take that advice, because that'll give you a nice bargain there. This book alone is a work of art. This is like just so everyone can know, this is like a textbook. This is the size and thickness. It's hardcover. This is a beautiful book. Like this. Oh my gosh, I love this. And I'm going to go ahead and put a picture of the cover on screen.
And it's large print, so it's easy to read for elderly folks like me.
I love that. Very thoughtful of you. So, Kaziah, do you, aside from, now you've been painting fallen soldiers as simply a gift to their families of their loved one, right? Okay. Which is, I think, such a beautiful gift. I want to just show some of those photos again. And this was from a news segment that you were part of that you mentioned earlier. Being able to paint these and gift these to their parents after they had already transitioned, passed over. And you do these at no cost?
Correct.
Wow.
Yeah, I started out doing it now like the street sweeper and the cleaning lady. Each one of those 20 by 24, they sold for $2,500. And so I had $5,000 in my account when I decided that, just as a simple act of kindness, that I was going to paint the portrait of these fallen soldiers and send it to the families as a free gift. You know, just to say, I love you, thank you. I'm so sorry for your loss. And I would just cry.
Ooh, I get chills.
But then, more kept getting killed, and I just kept going. And so, and then the nation got all excited and thought I was somebody special. And
you are.
Started sending me all these awards. I got so many awards around this, but hey, the greatest awards, they're right here in my heart.
Right.
They're what people have said to me. These guys at the Hill Air Force Academy, Hill Air Force Base, in Clearfield, Utah. They brought me down there, talked to me, presented me with some darling gifts, and then they walked me out to my car, and they said, when we found out what you was doing, he said, we have presidents, we have popes, we have bishops, we have all kinds of politicians show up here, and they give us a big spill of what they're going to do for us, and then they go away and they do nothing. Here you are. You don't say nothing to nobody. You just see a need and you start doing it. And you know what, woman? You do it with a big smile on your face. You know what? You are definitely one of us. You see that?
Yes. You're leading with your heart. You create from the heart, and people feel that. And that means so much. Now, aside from the portraits for fallen soldiers or the workers, what a beautiful gift. I'm just imagining the street sweeper coming down the road, and you come on out and say, here you go. How special to be seen like that, because that's what you're helping to do for people. You're helping people to know that they are special and they're seen.
This darling little lady Nada Anderson. She was on the corner of one of the in town in Manti, and I'd see her out there, and I just thought, she is so adorable. I just have to go over and introduce myself. So I did, and I told her I was an artist, and I offered to pay her $10, which was my standard modeling fee. Pay you $10 if you let me take your picture. I want to do a painting of you. Oh, honey, I can't afford a painting. I says, darling, you ain't gonna afford it. Somebody else is. I just want to paint you. However, when I did that, and then I had a canvas print made of that, and I gave it to her as a gift because she's just so cute, and I loved it. And so that was all the painting for.
Okay, so thank you for that, because that leads into my next question. I did want to ask, do you sell your art as well? And it sounds like you do.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
perfect.
have a few paintings that I sell, but I have to tell you, if I have a soldier, police, or firefighter that needs to be painted, that I feel that I can paint, I got kind of a screw loose in my brain. I'm telling you, I cannot, in good conscience, go farting around painting something that I think somebody's going to want to buy and not get that done first. Now, you'd think after the thousands that I've painted that I wouldn't have a brain like that, but I just do. So it is what it is.
I think it's beautiful. And, I'm a former Long Beach Police Department crime analyst and employee, and I worked at the Long Beach Fire Department. And so any police, fire individuals out there, whether you're from that department or others, I just feel like people need to know about you.
They're beautiful. I love them.
Yeah. So, and I know what you mean. The fire department, especially, I mean, that, they speak to the heart. They see the heart, and special gift. So, because I want to take a look. We've had some comments here while we've been speaking, and I just want to see what came through. We have Tamara here saying, "Get this party started." Woo! Exactly. Thank you for being here, Tamara. And we have Betty saying, "Nice bio, awesome journey." Yeah, I mean, that's a very inspiring journey that you have. And Betty's also acknowledging that you have a big heart for the fallen soldiers, and that's admirable. I completely agree with that.
Well, we go back to freedom. Without them, we ain't got nothing. I was also a guest speaker at the Heart of the Pentagon before the generals.
Wow.
And if you don't mind me repeating what I said.
Sure.
I said, well, I mean, I talked for maybe about 10 minutes because their time's valuable. Okay. So anyway, but, and I told them the inspiration, why I started painting soldiers and how much my freedom means to me. And I says, guys, without men and women willing to risk life and limb to protect this great nation, guess what? Our ass is grass and the lawnmower's on its way. They clapped, they cried, they stood up and gave me a standing ovation. It's true.
I believe it. I think, the word freedom, regardless of your profession, your upbringing, it's something that speaks to all of us, because there are certain ways that we're all seeking greater freedom. And I'm going to bring it back to your book, Escape Prisons of the Mind, because that is the place that we can all start from in our own mind. Even any efforts other people have taken to control our mind, oh my goodness, that is not a pleasant experience. I'm very, very aware of that. And let's bring it right back to, you actually can do something about that. And so, Kaziah, do you have any closing words you want to say to people to help them connect to their own power, to be able to be free in their own minds?
Okay. Giving is nothing new. God is the greatest giver, and his son, Jesus Christ, is the greatest gift. And if you stick your nose in the Bible and read Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, until you fall in love with Jesus all over again, he will help you. He will strengthen your backbone. You can overcome stupid stuff and know that you've been forgiven, because that's what he went on the cross for, is so that we could be forgiven. Hey, I was in hell. I slept with the devil. Guess what? I felt horrible. But when I read him forgiving the harlot, I wept like a baby. I knew that he'd forgive me too. And I had a new beginning.
Yeah.
And the light would shine in my world. And all I ever want to do is be a blessing to people.
You are.
And so through the gift of art, I've been able to, show a few people that they matter. It's just a simple act of kindness to honor the honorable, to serve the few who serve the many, because there isn't very many that give a rat's rear about protecting our nation from our enemies.
Well, Kaziah, I want to take a moment to thank you for what you do. And I also just want to bring it back to, it goes even beyond the paintings. You haven't been just shining your light and helping others when you started painting. It began back when you were cleaning out jugs and you chose to, okay, now I'm going to clean this next higher jug. And now, I'm going to say no to this and I'm going to choose to go get a job. And then I'm going to, all the next steps that you took leading up to sharing your story through your book and through having conversations like this. All of those are pieces of the light that you shine in this world that is a gift to everyone else that gets to hear it and receive the hope, the inspiration, the strength that is going to cultivate in them to know that they too have potential to escape whatever they may feel is controlling them. I just want to bring that back home for everyone. Go ahead.
Okay, well, the thing is, see, after I escaped, I literally had somebody come to the back driveway where I slipped in to a pickup truck, and I crouched down to where nobody could see me when I left. But every day that I had left that horrible thing where I was sexually abused, I was slandered and taken advantage of and robbed, I felt cleaner. It's an amazing thing. When you stop being sexually abused and you realize that it's like, when you're around somebody filthy and you can't even take enough baths to wash off that slime. But, and that there was all these threats of blood atonement for those that disobeyed and that left that wretched mess. Hey, if you've ever heard of Ervil LeBaron and the Lafferty brothers, they were committing murders. And this was right about that time. I took their threats of blood atonement very seriously. But I just made sure that I went straight to the police department and I told them exactly what had gone on. And I went there and sworn out a restraining order against the old bugger. And
were they able to help?
Oh, yes.
Good,
oh, yes.
Good.
And then I just kept going, but I felt cleaner. I felt more empowered every single day. And, you don't know how strong you can be until you have to be.
Exactly.
And God will help you because God is very real and his son Jesus is very real. And I am blessed and I am forever thankful because the life that I have now, to sit up there and drink the finest coffee in the land and listen to music and paint and have my own home and have hot and cold running water, flip a switch and the light comes on and have my own bedroom and control my own hours and decide what I'm going to eat and where I'm going to go and what I'm going to wear and what I'm going to listen to and who I'm going to talk to and who I'm not. It's a beautiful thing. No, I don't have anything to do with any of those fundamentalist, polygamist nutcase groups. I'm just saying that's my take.
That's okay.
It's a sad thing of how many people are still in there. Now, like Warren Jeffs, okay? The guy is held up as a prophet. However, he ended up having a moment of conscience or truth or whatever. And he says, well, guys, I've never been a prophet. And
wow.
So that got back to his congregation. And you know what they said? Oh, it's just a test. He's just seeing how loyal we are. Hey, guess what? A real prophet would never say that.
Oh my goodness, Kaziah. Okay, we're going to begin to wind down the show here. That is just, oh my goodness. Kaziah, thank you so much for being here today and sharing what you had to share and your art and everything. Yes, you're a testament to a person's inner strength, and I'm grateful that you are here to share that, and that you see that you have so much to be grateful for too. It's wonderful. Thank you.
You bet.
All
Life
right,
is good.
life is good.
Life is good. God is great. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Because I'm going to go ahead and put you back down into the green room here, and I'll see you in just a few minutes while I close out the show.
All right, sweetie. Thank you
Okay.
so much. You bet.
All right. So if you would like to purchase Kaziah's book, Escape Prisons of the Mind, again, this has large print, so it's easy to read. It has full color portraits of her art. And you can reach out to her. Her website, of course, is theartofkaziah.com. And earlier in the show, she actually gave her address, where if you want to reach out to her and purchase the book at a reduced rate, then you want to connect with her via that address. So you'll want to rewind and go back to that part of the show. I want to remind you that you too have the inner strength, the ability to choose freedom from within yourself first, in whatever way that speaks to you right now. Every day is a new day. Every moment is a new moment to make a new choice, make a new decision. It's not about education. It's not about what someone else is doing. Those things impact us absolutely, and nothing takes away from what you have the ability to control, to shift, to change. It all starts within you first. Kaziah is an amazing testament to that. And I want you to remember that about yourself as well. Have an amazing day, everybody. I'll see you again next time with another amazing guest or a solo episode. We've still got those as well. Connect with me over on KimO'NeillCoaching.com. I'll see you again very, very soon.